everyone. Welcome to another team update from Talent Protocol. Today is the 24th of October, and let's jump into the last week. So first, cool announcement is that Tolga, you might have seen him on our Discord, if you are there, but we had opened the position for ops manager that was part-time, and so Tolga kindly accepted our offer after our process, and we think it's a great fit, and it's really enjoyable to see someone from the community joining the team. So really happy for that, and once again, welcome, Tolga. The other announcement is that currently we have finished the plan for the season 3 product and growth. So these are currently mostly focused on until the end of the year in terms of principles and priorities, but I mean this, and I'll just quickly go over the priorities for product, but essentially these are going to be the foundations of what we're going to build during season 3. So the first one is building an economy for talent. I mean, season 3 is called Talent Game for a reason, and so we want to make sure that we have the flexibility and the means to essentially be able to distribute rewards and to make it as dynamic as possible. The next one is to allow anyone to own essentially their career data, and for us to launch our .tal domain, which now I realize it's spelled incorrectly, and to do this through our career metadata standard. Then the final one is to continue to explore NFTs, as those have become kind of mainstream. Next, for the growth plan, Philippe, do you want to just quickly go over the priorities?
Yes, I think this time we summarized kind of the plan into priorities and principles. Principles are kind of more things that the team should have kind of present all the time. So kind of that we're looking to reach new people. So every time we need to make a decision, these principles should help us make that decision. So the focus is reaching new people. We should be taking more risks in terms of kind of the content we do, the initiatives that we do, also the MGP approach, so doing less things but doing them better and spending more time trying to make them better, and decentralizing the team. So as much as possible, delegating things to investors, to contributors, etc. In terms of what our priorities is, of course, building these team of ambassadors and contributors that are actively helping us, and not only building that team, but making sure they are autonomous, so we can focus on different things. Launching the kind of the newsletter, the editorial newsletter, so focusing our content initiatives on one channel, one tactic, and see if we can grow it and see some impact from that effort. Launching the NFT collection, that will be both kind of a like something to thank the existing community members, but also like a hook, something to persuade new people to create an account and a profile. And of course, success metric is if people actually use those NFTs as an avatar. And yeah, the last priority is kind of revamping Twitter and trying a new approach to Twitter.
Perfect. Thank you for that recap. And now that Pedro is joining, you have a few announcements that I was taking over, but you want to just quickly give a shout out to Learning Fest if you can.
Is it sound okay?
Not great, but we can hear you.
No, do it. Please do it instead of me because of that. Sorry, apologies.
Yeah, no worries. So for anyone in the community, today kind of started the whole blockchain week in Lisbon. There are a bunch of events, and Pedro is right now representing Talent Protocol at Protocol Labs Day and pitching Talent Protocol. So hopefully that was nice and fun. So yeah, let me continue to take over for him. Yeah, so Wording Fest. So last week we just wrapped up Wording Fest. I think it was really good. I really enjoyed also the experience of using GatherTown for this type of event was really enjoyable. Gustavo, I don't know if since you were the one that that organized it, do you want to share a little bit of any feedback or any cool insights?
Yeah, I think it was a good experience, not a great one. Okay. I think people enjoyed it. It was great for create awareness about Telm protocol among other communities, mainly learning communities. And it's also a great experiment for using Gather in other situations. But I would like to have a different experience. I had a lot of things that didn't work so well. And at the same time, I think these events need to be more aligned with the big picture that we are doing at the moment. But I think that is something that applies to other initiatives. So I'm debriefing it, and I'll get back to you with more concrete feedback about it.
Sure.
Why don't we do the next community call? Because it's going to be during the retreat, right? So
Yeah.
why don't we do it on Gather just to try it out?
Yeah, I think that definitely we can try it out. When we were going over the hot topics, Philippe also mentioned that. So I think it can be a good challenge and a different opportunity for us to take a look at using it. So I'm also going to scratch this one off in terms of GatherTown. But yeah. So next one is also from Pedro, and it relates to the whole opportunities and the MVP that we're doing. And I saw this a bit live when I was on a call with him, but I mean, Palette, it works, but it isn't great, right? So it has proven to be a bit of a challenge to manage it and to make it do essentially what we want to do, and probably an opportunity for someone to improve or build on top of. And next, Flip.
It's a request for you and Matt, actually. After writing this, I also saw some conversation about this, maybe on Discord. But yeah, so Matt's role and goal is to kind of to write a white paper for kind of our next step, and I think tokenomics are a foundational part of everything that we're building. So my request is, what's the plan to build this white paper in public? So how are we going to involve the team, everyone in the team, but also the wider community, the ambassadors, the contributors? What will their role be on this process? When will we need them? And yeah, clarifying that and making that plan.
Yeah, so in my mind, the whole plan isn't totally clear in a way, but I think that unlike the last tokenomics, which were built initially, like the idea were built in public. So I remember that at the time we had a bunch of calls on our Discord to kind of discuss tokenomics. But I think that this time we'll essentially need people at different stages. So right now we are branching out a bit, but we're trying to create a small structure of essentially how our tokenomics could work in terms of a system. And so I'm working with Matt to essentially put that on paper. and so that we can start to share and collect some feedback. So right now it's more of we're essentially thinking about the system, and we will want to involve the community in terms of feedback and to see if people agree with it. And then we'll go one step further and start to create like the different interactions, the different rewards, different faucets for Tal and so on, and continue to involve the community. How exactly will we request feedback? It's a good question, because at least I think that, for instance, just asking it on the community call hasn't been great in the past. At least I think that we requested some feedback for season 3, the plan, and so on. But at least as far as I know, we didn't collect a lot of feedback. So I definitely think that we need to do something different if we want people to actually give valuable feedback.
Yeah, I agree, and especially because it's a very complex topic. So
Yeah.
it's not like presenting a white paper and say like commenting on this. Maybe it's kind of much more targeted questions regarding specific features, specific use cases that we can try to test and validate.
Yeah. I think that we could aim for next week to have to kind of present to all of you and ask for feedback after that, and try to essentially work things out then. And the last one is more for, I mean, core team ambassadors and so on, but we changed a bit how Notion works, and it when we removed some people from being a member, things went a bit crazy. But essentially, I've also created on our internal processes. Yeah, so on our internal processes, I've essentially created on how to give access to Notion to anyone. And I'll continue to update this if something is out of line. So we already did with the core team like 2 weeks ago, and recently also with Gustavo, and so far no one has complained too much after this. So I think it's okay, but I mean, if something is off, just do let me know to make sure that everything is in place and correct. All right, so last but not least, in terms of metrics, as always, make sure that you can take a look at our metrics dashboard, which is a Google Sheet currently, that will be revisiting and redoing soon, because most of our metrics should change now that we have season 3. But for now, and just going over essentially at how things went for the past week. So as expected a little bit, we had a big surge in terms of visitors and Talent Tokens applications, and even in terms of supporters and TVL. And it's interesting to see that it was mostly focused on Polygon. But yeah, with the new launch, the new season, I think this was expected to see an increase there. And in terms of down, our approval rate went a bit down, because this is still a manual task that the team needs to get done, and sometimes we can get quite busy, but we didn't get any token launch during next week, just one on Cello, probably because of it, but with a few approvals and making sure that profiles are correct, I think we'll see this change. Flip.
Now, one suggestion that I have is that now that we're bringing ambassadors to perform some admin tasks like approving talent, maybe I've asked you this already, but we should have like a log of things. So a log of who approved who when.
Yeah.
For example, we're not only for approvals, but other admin tasks. For example, I don't know, even like doing crediting people with TAL tokens.
Yeah,
So we
yeah.
should have a log of those things.
Yeah,
And that information could be published, for instance, on the profile of a person who token gets approved. We can say approved by. Same way we say invited by on the token session. We say approved by.
yeah.
I'm not sure if it like on the profile we would want that, but I think public, yes. So it's public and people can check who approved who when. I don't know if I want that in my profile, like a random ambassador that approved me. But yeah, I think those things should be public.
Yeah, so
trackable.
yeah, so I noticed that Ruben unmuted because we already have that in place in terms of we already track essentially who approves who. Right now, what needs to be built out is creating an intermediate role between an admin and a normal user, because we only have those two right now, to essentially allow an ambassador to approve someone. So that shouldn't be too difficult to roll out. And I think that it makes also perfect sense to do this for the rewards and giving TAL, so that we can have that whole log around who did what. But we already have the tools in place, so these things shouldn't be too hard or take too long to do. Ruben, do you want to add anything else just to this part?
Yeah, that was exactly it. I was about to mention. We have that logged, but we are not showing anywhere. So we can probably just build that logic to display to admins who approved who. Yeah.
I think this could be a cool bounty, perhaps, for the next step for Shirley. We can create a task for that. All right, and I think that's it for this week's TeamSync. Again, if you are in Dizmen, we'll be at a bunch of events. There will be Talent Day on Thursday, and then Hackathon, and next week is the whole D-Nights week. So if you are in Dizmen, make sure to come by and talk with us. We don't bite, and we do exist outside of this calls. So yeah, to be an exciting time to meet everyone and to do some more stuff IRL. All right, so have a nice week, everyone. Talk soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.